Hey, dribblers, sorry about this. The audio in this episode is not amazing. Mouse ate a cable, dog ate my homework. Don't know, tech issues. It's still very listenable and enjoyable, but you'll hear the odd hiccup, and apologies for that. Hope you still enjoy it. Bye. It's Friday. It's 140 days to Christmas, which means it's about 78 days till Catherine puts up her Christmas tree, I believe. But more excitingly for netball fans, it's 72 days until the real Christmas, which is the start of the Constellation Cup. Because, of course, while the Commonwealth Games may be behind us, we are just in the throes of an exciting netball year. You're in no dribble. Strap in! Hello, my name's Carolyn Swindell. Welcome to No Dribble, a podcast where we talk about netball. We talk about so much more.
And I'm Liz Ellis, and we seem to be missing somebody.
The empty chair beside me has gone to the bathroom, obviously, but we decided that we needed to get cracking anyway because we can't wait for her to be ready. If we pause every time Catherine needs to go to the toilet, we'll never get this podcast done.
You should try rimming with it, like all night it's up and it's down. It's like, oh man.
Well, I'm getting slaved off here, but can we just tell the truth that we had audio issues for the first 45 minutes I was sitting here?
Yo, you were sitting there quietly, nicely. You had your device. You don't need those
You don't
today.
need them.
We've got audio issues. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Kat Cots.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hey, I've got a dilemma.
Great.
I need you to help me with. Well, I don't need you to help me with because it's solved, like it's over. But I want to know what you would do. So last Saturday morning, my son was filling in for a football team, and so his team was playing at 10:30, and he was filling in for a team that was playing at 8:30. So we got up and we drove to the fields and we parked. And where these fields are, it is notoriously difficult to get a park. But because we were so early, I got there and I got like pole position, and it was a bit of a crappy morning, lots of rain, lots of crappy weather. And I parked and I went to watch him. And then at the end of the game, there was an hour between the first game and then his team's game. And he wanted to stay there because a couple of his mates were there. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. All the parents are here. They're all sort of running the soccer. And then I thought, what do I do? If I get in the car and go, I lose pole position. But I needed a coffee. So, I can't. Do you know what? I stood there at the front of the car and just looked. I looked for a bit, and it was these fields are between two towns, right? So they're not. There's no. You can't walk anywhere. I thought.
Now, are you talking about getting an Uber to get the coffee, or Uber Eats to the coffee come to you?
Oh, no, Uber to the coffee.
I didn't even think of that. How stupid am I? I should have Ubered to the coffee.
Welcome to
I didn't even do that.
Technology.
What did you do?
Well, I got in the car and drove, and then I had just a crap park when I got back, and it was pouring rain, and Austin was covered in mud, and anyway, my whole day went downhill from there, and then netball got cancelled because it was wet. But I should have rang you two and said, what do I do? You would have said, get an Uber. But the problem is in the country, an Uber can take up to like 45 minutes, but it would have been worth it to miss his game, to have a great park when he finished.
Do you know what I think you should have done, actually, Liz, is lent a little bit on the fact that you are a beloved celebrity in this country and talk to someone about your dilemma and just gone, oh, really wish I had a coffee. And then either they would drive you to get it or they would drive and get it for you. I think this is the time. You don't get paid for your job, so you might as well exploit who you are in some ways. And that would be, they'd feel like they were doing a national treasure a favour. You'd have a coffee. Your car wouldn't have moved. It would, service. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Do you know what I should have done was put it out on socials?
Yes.
Quite a few years ago when it flooded, we got flooded in and I didn't have any coffee beans. So there's a recurring theme here, my addiction to coffee. And one of my neighbours had a spare bag of beans and she brought it to our front gate. And we sort of got her to sort of toss it to where the tractor was. Anyway, we finally got it because we couldn't get our car in and out to drive to get some beans. So, and because as I put it out, I said on the socials, I can't be held responsible for my temper for the next 24 hours or 48 hours.
Fair
while we're
enough.
How long
flooded
do
in.
beans last?
Oh, they can last up to 3 weeks.
What?
That's the rule of 3.
What's the rule of 3?
The rule of 3 is you got 3 months from when they're picked green to use them. You've got 3 weeks from when they're roasted to use them. You've got 3 minutes from when they're ground to use them.
3 minutes from when they're ground.
Yeah, like if you grind your beans, they're not as good as if they're freshly ground.
Who's
I know that's probably controversial.
Yeah. Remember the other day we were talking about how it was going to be difficult for you to explain wanker in Ted Lasso? Tell them 3.
Wait till I start talking about my wine cellar.
All right. So that was the dilemma, and you just solved it by capitulating.
Yeah, I just capitulated. I know, but I need. Oh, okay. I should use the socials more, shouldn't I?
Yes.
Or the group chat.
Yeah.
Because so far you've only used the group chat in the last couple of days to swear about the netball. But, we can all understand.
Okay.
On the Nutted Dribble Facebook page, you would have had a coffee delivered to you by our amazing dribblers within seconds because we rule the world.
This is true. But on our group chat, didn't you ask us to post pictures of our cups of tea to prove?
Yeah.
Was it just to prove to Catherine that it can be done?
No, you sent yours through too late. Then we're going, but I will post them, and I want the dribblers to try to pick whose tea is which. So obviously we know a little bit about someone's problem with pouring, but yeah. So, but I put a picture of a cup of tea up on the on
Yours
Instagram.
was pathetic.
But it wasn't finished. But I'm just showing that you can pour your milk and your water in without it needing to turn into a national crisis. Like, it
wasn't finished.
Well, the tea bag needed to steep for a while.
Oh, right, but that was the border level. That was the level that you were going to lead that at.
Yeah.
That was pathetic. What? Why do you have to make another one to get any sort of tea?
Okay, you could have another one.
Excuse me, lady of the land here. You don't use tea bags. That's not a proper cup of tea. That's what you use in emergencies.
No,
that's
what I should do.
You were using leaf?
I use leaf tea. We have a teapot, and every morning we get up and we fill the teapot up, and every person in our house gets a cup of tea delivered to them. So children, me, husband does a delivery, and then you have to refresh the teapot, and then we get our
So one person in the house does not get his tea delivered to him?
Well, sometimes he does, but not often. He gets his second cup delivered to him because I do the second cup.
No. Oh, this is what I need to do. I think I need a teapot and then just fill that bucker up to the top, and then I can just be civilised with my cup pour and just go again.
Yes,
I can't
then it's all there
making
for
a
you.
second cup like you. Oh, I don't have that sort of stamina.
Well, so getting a bigger cup then would help it. You said, don't just tell me to get a bigger cup.
Yeah, because I still fill it up. Oh,
Yeah, no, I quite
Get
like
a pot, Catherine.
tea. Just get a grip, Catherine. It's probably where we're at.
Have you got a
get some
tea
self-control.
coat, Liz?
Yes, I do. I've got a nice red one. I like my tea
very nice.
cozy. I bought it from the ladies at the CWA at Bangalore.
Oh, it's such a dying art. Who's going to be making us that cool stuff when the next gen, and who's doing all the home baking? I feel like all that sort of stuff is so retro.
Ukulele
Baking's good.
play bake, do they? Not
It's
this
more the
one.
sewing and repairing clothes, right? So
Yeah.
my mum who is in her mid-80s and is unbelievable, she still does hems and buttons and stuff. Well, Matthew does buttons. I can't do buttons, so I can't sew. But I worry that we've got such a disposable approach to fashion that we actually should be repairing, and I don't know how to repair. So I've asked Mum to teach Evelyn because my time has passed. I can't do it.
Yep. Can't teach your dog nutrition.
Wolf. Someone said something to Evelyn or one of our kids the other day about mum having to sew on the button, and they're like, no, that's Dad's job in our house. I'm like, yeah, that's feminism.
Yeah, my husband is certainly the one who does those things. I just say, I can't get the sewing machine down. It's too high. Not that you use a sewing machine to get that down, but the sewing basket and the sewing machine are up on high. And it's like, well, everyone loves to tell me that I'm now the shortest person in this household. I'm not getting that shit down. You do it. No.
Can we stay on the topic of Pete and go to my no dribble recommends?
Yes.
So,
Peter's my husband, for who don't know.
honestly, Carolyn has got these strip lights, but they're censored. So
I
when you
got a
walk
bit excited then when it was like Pete and Strip.
street, yeah.
Yay.
Actually, just end the story there. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
good
anytime if
story.
you walk into the bathroom or walk wherever, it automatically lights up. You don't have to turn a light on, so it gives you enough light, and then it's just censored for however long, and then you leave. Anyway, I was raving about them like a crazy person. Pete bought me some,
Oh.
and they are the best things.
Yeah. They're
And that's says.
They're like a ruler, and you can just stick them onto the wall. Chuck them in your suitcase if you're traveling somewhere, particularly if you're taking your mum somewhere, for instance. And it's like you don't know whether your accommodation will have good nightlight type situation. So
I'm going to take them to New Zealand next week. That's a great
USB charger. They're fantastic. I'm glad that you're getting good use out of them.
Yeah, get on board. And they're just from like Amazon or something, aren't they?
Oh no, there's a very expensive shop that he bought them from. Team with a gift. I don't know. Oh, we're probably Team or Amazon or something. Oh, good. Glad you like it. We should take a little break and talk about some netball, though. Okay, I've got some controversy to talk about. And look, we've talked about it before, but I think it's timely for us to raise this again. So I've had a number of dribblers write to me over the last couple of days, obviously grieving somewhat a Commonwealth Games gold medal that we probably all thought was going to come back to Australia, didn't we? So it's been a bit of a shock to the system. But actually sort of talking about that, we talked about this the other day, that in allowing internationals into our Super Netball competition, rising tide raises all boats, everyone's getting better. But at what point do we go, it's not worth it for Australia anymore? We've now, we've now made our lives much more difficult. So, I had Sharon Brock wrote to me and she said that, personally, she's a big fan of the internationals and obviously as a Thunderbirds supporter, she certainly would be. But, is just saying now, have we seen the last of our every 4 years Commonwealth Game gold medal? Is next year's World Cup starting to look under threat for us? And what price are we willing to pay here? Discuss.
Don't ask me.
All right. Well, let me tell you. I've got some notes then of things that I wanted to say, and this will obviously. Fantastic story came to me from a dribbler named Emma Gillard, and she's Irish. And County Mayo has won the Gaelic Football Championship for the first time since 1951. 75 years since they have had a championship, and they just won it. And this county is going absolutely insane. Now, very interesting because they think they were cursed in 1950.
Boy.
Yes. So the winning squad, when they came back into County Mayo, interrupted a funeral procession. Legend has it a Catholic priest cursed them all, saying they would never win another championship as long as they all shall live. The last surviving player from that winning team died in 2023, leading many to believe that the curse has been broken. So Mayo's been a running joke for years and years and years that it's like Mayo can't win anything. And, you look at the South Sydney Rabbitohs here in rugby league, there were, 43 years between their last two premierships. Every sport has these clubs who have this incredibly long period without success. T-Birds, nearly 2 seasons without a win, and their fans are absolutely rusted on. So is losing actually something that creates greater commitment from the fans? Does it make your dessert sweeter when you've eaten your Brussels sprouts for dinner?
Oh, it absolutely does. But it is also going to make Australia better. Like, they haven't even made the gold medal game. So you can't tell me they're not now going in there and flipping every rock upside down to see what's underneath. Where do we need to improve? We've got a World Cup at home next year. Yeah, that can't happen to us again. I think it is so good, as I said, internationally for all the other countries, but it's a kick in the ass for us as well, and that's not always a bad thing.
Yes, and whilst I do need to tread carefully, I would love to see, I don't think the answer is restricting the imports. I think the answer is getting more teams, right? So that's something that certainly is a focus. But I actually also think, yes, 5 New Zealand players, 5 Silver Ferns played in Super Netball. How many Jamaicans? 4? Maybe played in Super Netball?
5, yeah.
do you know how many diamonds played in Super Netball?
Mm-hmm.
12, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, it helps the other countries, but our players get to play against them day in, day out. The thing that having all the imports certainly restricts is the number of Australian players with contracts, but there's still, 60 Australian players-ish. I don't have the numbers in front of me. So I do think, though, that from a commercial point of view, being able to say this is the best league in the world with the best players is certainly helpful. I know from speaking to people at Channel 9 who were there for the last negotiations when, Super Netball came to 9 a decade ago, was that was something that was really quite exciting for them, and it's something that we've sort of built the commercial reality on. So, I mean, I think it's always good to question, right? If we're going to have unlimited imports, we should have a really good reason as to why. It shouldn't just be, it's because that's what we've always done. If we're going to restrict the imports, we need a good reason as to why. But certainly it's having that loss in that semi-final. You go, well, it's because we've trained up the rest of the world. Well, maybe we have, but if we can take a step back, is that a good thing for the game globally? Yeah. Is it a good thing for the game domestically? Probably, because there's so much more interest when it's in the balance. That's when sport is at its greatest, when things are in the balance. It's like, when you win a grand final by 20, it's great. But when the final whistle goes, you're like, yay, we won. When you win a grand final in the last second, that's when you lose your shit, right? Because it's in the balance. And that when sport is in the balance, whether it's in a grand final or whether it's in a competition where anyone can win, that's when it is at its best. And I'm proud that Australia's been able to do that for the rest of the world. I think that's something we should absolutely hang our hat on.
Yeah. And I think your point is so valid in that how invested were people that wouldn't normally be in this games campaign because they knew all these players from other countries and knew them really well. So they could watch that gold medal game, they could watch the bronze medal game and know most of the players on the court. I think that is so special. And it gets you excited. And then it's going to get you even more excited about next year.
Well, I'm really excited about the Constellation Cup. For a whole lot of reasons, obviously having watched these players, but now seeing New Zealand as the current gold medalist. And it's like, I think about rugby union and like the Bledisloe Cup, Australia, New Zealand, it happens every year. Australia hasn't won it since 2002 and they get tens of thousands of people going along to see this, fully expecting that the Wallabies are going to lose it. And it's like, that is part of the whole, I need to be there when this happened, when this tide ferns. And those Silver Ferns fans who made their way to Glasgow, they were there when they saw that happen. And it's like, then that's part of it. And I think it's I hate to see the Diamonds lose. It was, I didn't sleep well afterwards, but I also feel like it's possibly the best thing that could have happened, not just internationally, but for us as a sport. Like it really starts to bring in something that it's like, oh yeah, well the Diamonds just always win. Oh, they must only always win because everyone else is hopeless. It's like, no, they win and it's hard to win. And, and I think that's much more valuable. I'm excited by it. I feel sorry for those young women who had to be the ones, the first team to not get into a Commonwealth Games gold medal. But I feel like that will be, and we saw it the very next day when they came out in the bronze medal match that they went, to hell with this, let's show them what we can do.
And I really hope momentum of New Zealand's win carries on to something getting fixed in New Zealand.
And I also think that like the redemption arc for next year's World Cup is such a great opportunity for the Diamonds as well. Like that's a great story. That's really exciting. Someone did say to me, about the Olympics push. They were like, well, be careful what you wish for. The rest of the world might get good at netball. I'm like, that's great. I want the Netball World Cup to be like 10 nations can win it. But, when you watch the Football World Cup, it's still the same sort of 5 or 6 nations that you see at the pointy end, but everything's just that bit more condensed in terms of who can win. I would be rapt to see that. I would be rapt to see China and the United States and India and these really populous nations put a crap ton of money into the sport and develop it. Like, how good would that be?
Well, Netball USA is advertising for a whole lot of positions. So if anyone wants to go over and build the game in the United States, there's the jobs are open right now. So, interesting. I was watching and this obviously changed over the weekend, but, I was watching a number of the pool matches and I thought, so let's for argument's sake say Giants were our worst Super Netball team just based on where they came on the ladder. I don't think that necessarily reflected how close some of the games they played were and the excellence of what they showed on court. But I think that they could have been quite competitive at the Commonwealth Games and not medalists. But, and that makes it really hard if you are a netballer in this country, because you've got to be really
world class
into the diamonds, don't you? But what are they doing? They're saying, well, I'm going to be world class then. I'm going to do what I need to do in order to get that position. And then if they do, then they get to play in one of the best in the world.
Before we move on, I just want to show everyone the showing off that's going on here. What's that? Look at the size of that font. Can you actually read that?
Yeah, I can read it, but if it's not. I probably should have. I did think earlier on when I was reading it that I probably should have made that slightly larger. But anyway.
All good chat, everyone. Great questions.
But also, like, all of this stuff, thinking about, the other sports and things, it's so critical that we retain the heritage of our super netball clubs, isn't it? Like, you look at that with the Rabbitohs were in and out of the competition. The West Tigers have had mergers and things. And I know, so the Sydney Swans what were they in Melbourne? The South Melbourne.
Yeah.
But there's still the Bloods, and we get a whole lot of people from Melbourne coming up to support them. And you can't create that heritage. It needs to be built. And it's like, if we have to have changes of ownership structures and things, I really hope we can retain the brands, because, the Mavericks have just started with 3 years in now, but it's like they've got none of that sort of heritage to pull on. And then when we were all at the Swifts 30-year dinner, you look at all of that and that it inspires the players and keeps fans from different generations connected. And you can't, it has to happen over time. But it does, it matters for a sport and for sports fans.
100%. It does.
Interestingly, County Mayo have the same colours as the Rabbitohs, that red, green.
Do they?
So, yeah. It has that 5 years. And the poor bastard, everyone in Mayo is just thinking, can you die already? All right. We should take a quick break and come back. Okay, well, it's Friday now. We're exhausted. We've been talking about netball for well over a week now.
I think a question for you, do you? Because you were carrying on about Holly Madison and the book that I read again 4 times. Answers Down the Rabbit Hole.
Yes.
And you said, I'm going to get it.
Yes.
You haven't.
I have. I have. I've started with my homework. I haven't finished. I'm a third of the way through. What it strikes me is an incredibly exploitative and quite tragic story of an old rich man taking these young women and basically holding them hostage and this horrendous bloody life. So it's much more interesting than I thought. And it's a much more feminist text than I expected, I've got to say. Because actually that is what Holly Madison is saying. I don't know where she will get to in the arc of the story. I'm 30% of the way through. That's different from 3/4, Max. Kids, if you're doing your HSC, don't come to me for tutoring. But I suspect that's where she's going, because she really is talking about this setup and how vile and exploitative it was, and how the women were pitted against one another in competition for Hugh Hefner's attention, but also for the possibility that if you get to be a Playmate of the Month, that will change your life. And she is now realising, actually, there's not... Can you name a Playmate of the Month apart from like Pamela Anderson and I think Marilyn Monroe was one? But yeah, it's. I'm really
into a surprise. And then the good thing is, because after you read it, if you go back and watch the episodes, I know you won't, but the show is completely glorified. You don't get an inkling into any of that stuff. So it is fascinating to then go back and watch it on the lens of having read all that stuff.
And to be honest, that's what I thought the book would be like, that it was just a kind of, oh, look at us, we're pretty, and look at our outfits. But it is actually, it's a really interesting and very sad story, actually, about these young, impressionable women who are just brought into this world with these promises and just, Yeah, and how lonely it must have been for them.
I'm gobsmacked. I'll get you all my other recommendations.
Okay.
Have you read Slash's book?
No.
Right, from Guns N' Roses?
I know who Slash is.
Just as interesting.
Oh, yeah, keep talking. Let's get her to say more books. I bet she runs out of steam. This is a short thing. No, you read Yelena Docic's.
I did, and I read Andre Agassi's book. That was fascinating. Have you read that?
No.
Yeah. Well, see,
Did you read?
Read a book about tennis.
Well, because it's not
it's fascinating.
tennis. It's about the story in the background, and they both hated tennis. Hated it. It's fascinating. Anyway, so I'm far more into the biographies and stuff. People's life stories make interesting.
I think the interesting thing about both Andre Agassi's book and Yelena Docic's book was the role of their fathers and the fact, and I don't know about you, Catherine, like I am so, whatever you want to do, I'm not going to push you with my kids because I don't want them to write a book going, my mum was an asshole and she pushed me. And, I do say when people ask me, I'm like, I don't care what they play. I won my World Cups. I do not need my children to win World Cups. And people go to me, oh, what a flex. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. Okay, it's a flex, whatever. Yeah, I won World Cups. I do not need my children to win them for me. No, do you know what I saw? Australia's oldest ever gold medalist, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, was a woman who won a gold medal in the bowls. I was like, oh, I don't look any sport where you can drink a beer and do it.
Yeah,
I mean, not that the people at those level do it. Like she was really super focused and super in, and I'm like, yeah, it's just idiots like me that would drink a beer and bowl at the same time,
darts,
or throw darts.
I know it's not an Olympic sport or Commonwealth Games sport, but pool's got a good little circuit going on.
Yeah,
a snooker.
I think they take it pretty seriously.
Yeah,
I think they do. It's not like you and me, Catherine, where there's like if you have a certain number of drinks, there's like a sweet spot where. Your pool ability and your drink sort of really work together, and then you have one more drink, and then it's just fall down. Off the cliff.
It's such
That's
a fine
not how they
line.
do it professionally, Catherine.
I find my attention span wanes before I finish a game of pool. Like I really like it in the beginning, and then I'm like, for God's sake, can someone win this damn?
Do you know what I'm taking from that?
I'm not very good.
You're not very good. Yeah.
No, because you should play with Catherine. She's excellent.
Are you? Why are you so good?
We had a pool table growing up, which was the greatest thing ever because if you were bored, not your kids,
That's a great stage though.
Oh, we had a ping pong table in the garage.
Oh, yeah, so good. See, and could you play ping pong still?
We did. Our parents were divorced.
What's that got to do with anything?
What did you say, Caroline?
I said we did. My parents were divorced.
You had half a pool table and half a ping pong table.
Every second weekend I had a pool table. No.
It was so good though because I would just play it by myself all the time, like if I was bored, and it's a skill.
I would read a book.
I'm a bit quite active.
Yeah, a little bit the same. So my kids, you know how we've got that really long table at our place. So when we built our house, there was an old dead teak tree, I think, and we cut the tree down and we got it milled and we've turned it into a massively long table, as you both know. It can fit, I don't know, 10 or 12 people on it. But my kids have turned it into a table tennis table. And do you remember, Catherine, you guys bought me like a beautiful carved sort of goanna, First Nations art, and it's really long and it's actually, if you put it across the table, it goes from one side to the other. That's
nice.
The net.
Oh, that's
so
the net.
Our kids, it's poverty ping pong because we don't have a ping pong table, but they've turned the dining table into a table tennis table.
And fast forward a few years, I'll be using it for beer pong.
I'm not bad at that.
Oh, see? Yeah, you got to find your thing, right? I don't think I've ever played beer pong. When can we do that next?
It's also not that fun, but you're drunk, so it's like, oh, this is fun. So, what you two should do is come down to my gym in December every year. We do the beer mile. I've told you. Nice, haven't I? No. I am the reigning champion this year. My name is on the trophy twice out of the 3 years that we have been running it. So it's scull a can of beer, and Bolter is the prescribed choice. You have to do that. Run 400 meters. You do that 4 times. So,
how many people vomit when you do that?
Oh, like quite a lot. Oh, we didn't have as many vomiters last year, but a lot of what happens is a lot of 20-somethings come in and go, I'm going to be great at this. and they're hopeless at it. And then the middle-aged people, so the Gen Xers, because of course these younger people are not drinking as much as as we did. So, but also because they're young, they go, I'll drink and then I'll sprint. And the answer is, if you're ever doing a beer mild, drink fast, run slow.
Now, do you know what you need to do this year off the back of some inspiration we had earlier?
Is have you there.
Well, that would be a good start. But do your beer and then do a burpee and a squat jump. Beer. Yeah.
No, there's a great event at the Bangalow show. So this is why you live in the country. And at the end of it, like you've got to do a heap of things and you got to ride your horse and chop things a bit. You have to scull a can of warm beer as well. And it's just, but I always saw, Catherine, that you know how we used to do the beat test.
Yes.
And you and I were sort of mid to bad.
What? There's no mid about where I was.
Okay, you were bad and I was mid. But I always thought, all these smart-ass little mid-courts who, kill us on that, make them drink a bottle of champagne and do it in heels and they would be nowhere. You and I would have absolutely smashed it out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
But no one
Why
ever
didn't the plumber
thought
not
to do that.
consider that when I brought it
I
up?
don't know.
That's
I
not
tried
a
to
mid-court
convince
thing, though.
her.
That's an age, I reckon. That's
No, they're all little, right? If you're little, you can't drink some champagne and run. It's when you're a big unit, you've got more to what is it?
I will point out
Metabolise.
myself as incorrect, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
I only won it last year because the woman who is an absolute weapon was not there. So, but I don't care. It's like you
Doesn't
can
matter.
only
You just got to
whoever
beat
shows
whoever you
up on
put
the
in front of
day.
the day. Yeah.
I beat all the others. There was another woman who clearly thought she was going to get me, and at about 3 laps, after the third beer, I thought, no, I just have to hang in here. I'm going to get her. And she just could not finish her fourth beer. It was
So you were out the front the whole time?
No. She was ahead of me, and I had my eyes, and I thought I can't let her get too far away. I reckon I'll be able to run her down.
Did she do one of the premature celebrations before the line?
Wasn't that great?
Oh, yeah. I love those clips.
So I sent a video around in our group chat after Liz had stopped swearing about the game of athletes doing premature celebrations. So coming up to the line and then sort of waving their hands and someone coming up and just getting over, breaking the tape before them. It's like you would replay that in your mind every night at 2 a.m. for eternity, wouldn't you?
Yep. For eternity. Do you have menopause? Is that why you're awake? Anyway,
exactly. So it's beautiful. And if you've got anxiety, that's a double win too, isn't it? Because
so
you've been a
good.
bit awake anyway. So yeah. Anyway, well, I guess that's probably time for us to wrap. But we've all survived the first week post Commonwealth Games. It's only 207 weeks until the next Commonwealth Games. There or thereabouts. We're off to India. But in how many days did I say? 72 days from today, we will be having Constellation Cup. So there is still a lot of netball to still get excited about. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carolyn Swindell.
Cat Cogs.
I'm Liz Ellis. Bye.
Bye.